Who are not working, they have no source of income. But it's not because of their own dealing, but it's because of a natural calamity that came in. But our laws don't cover those things. When we look at our social protection acts, it's not included. Our social protection acts look at us as during old age. When you go to others of disaster preparedness, they look at floods, they look at landslides, but they never look at the effects of the workers. What is there for the workers? How are we prepared? How are they cushioned? So we needed to look at those laws and see that we are able to address those things. There is also now informal setting. When those laws came in place, if you read them very critically, you will see that they look at the formal setting of employment. The informal sector is left out. So we need to include the informal sector to see that they are all covered. Today people are talking about casualization, and employers are going into casualization to dodge some of the benefits. People are employed maybe for 1 month, 3 months, because they don't want to pay NSSF, they don't want to pay medical. So we should also look at our laws, how they cushion us from casualization. These laws should apply to each and every one, regardless of your contract terms, regardless of whether you're on contract or you're permanent, whether you've been recruited for 1 day and so on. All these laws, because it says workers, so we shouldn't look at them and put those additions. But for me, where I want to focus on mostly is implementation of laws, because all these 20 years I've been leading workers, the challenges I've seen are towards implementation, because our laws are not implemented. So this is the drive that I want to go to Parliament with. And one of the functions of a member of Parliament is that oversight. When they give you oversight functions, it means you have to monitor. You have to follow up what you have implemented in Parliament. And one of this, what you have done in Parliament is laws. So we need to follow up and see these laws are implemented. It goes further to see that some of these laws, like Compensation Act, people are not respecting them. People are not compensated on the place of work. Then they get accidents, no compensation. Some are even dismissed because they have lost some of their body parts, which is very wrong. But when I go to Parliament, the thing I want to look at there is, first of all, when you realize some people have never even got copies of those laws. They have not read, even yourself. So you cannot defend anything that you don't know. So my first angle is to make sure that people get these laws. And I will start with that with the unions. Give them as many copies so that they can share with their members. So next time I come, instead of giving you my manifesto, we'll interact and I give you copies of laws so that we have them on board, so that we defend ourselves when we know it. Another angle in implementation is going to be about bringing workshops, as many as we can, so that we can share experiences, so that we can share knowledge. So myself, when I entered the unions, way back, 20 years back and more, so about 25 years, we had those issues of training. So for me, apart from having experience with defending workers, what I've been doing daily, I'm also a trained trade union. I have training in trade unions. For me, that is key because it gives you advocacy. It gives you lobbying skills. It gives you negotiation skills. It trains you for the world of work. How do you handle your employer? How do you convince people to join it? How do you convince and manage situations? So that training has helped me. It has helped me more than the training I got from books, from the school. So that training is very, very key, and I want to revise it. So that periodically, if given money in Parliament, come and also send it back to the unions to have those training. Another area that I want to look at is occupational health and safety. The workplaces that we are in. How do we work? Now, for example, when I look at you people in the teaching field, in the educational system, most of the time you work while you're standing. So this is also affecting us. Others are using chalk. You're inhaling all those chalk and it's building in your systems. And that's why we find that we have a lot of problems now, health problems. Cancers are on the rise, people with kidney failures, liver issues. And when we look around, it's because of the workplaces, where we spend more than 8 hours in a day. So we have to make sure that those workplaces are really conducive for us as workers. And in that line, we need to go back to the issue of having inspections of workplaces. That inspectorate department ceased completely. If you go to Ministry of Labor, they will tell you we don't have facilitation, we don't have transport, because the ministry was merged with other departments. It now has rules, it has gender, it has so many things. So workers have lost its focus completely. So we need to also advocate for that and make sure we get back our Ministry of Labor. If we can't do it, then we should also advocate that this Department of Inspection is now reinforced so that we can help ourselves as workers have conducive workplaces. Another area that I'm looking at is about skills. I'll be brief because I'll give you copies of my manifesto, then you'll be able to read it. Skills development. Our education system is such that when you train, your teachers are aware. You are training people to go to specific skills. You train a nurse, someone will be a nurse for life. You train a teacher, you will be a teacher for life. A doctor is a doctor for life. So we don't have any survival skills, any other additional skills. And it came up key when we had this COVID situation. You find people who are completely starved because they cannot go to their workplace. They have not survived. I know some of you have also suffered that. You're not in class, so no source of income. You don't have any additional skills to fall back. But when we look at the employment systems of other countries, we find that they are encouraged to get skills. Actually, the employer is charged to make sure his workers get different skills. Because our society is dynamic. It changes. It's keeping on changing. If you don't buy those skills, then you're not money. Now today, you teachers you are going into that. We have already gone there. You're teaching online. You have to prepare your lessons online. Now, if you didn't know the computer, how are you going to do that? People don't know how PowerPoint is presented. So at the end of the day, if you have no other additional skills, you remain irrelevant. And at the end of the day, you lose. But if you go on adding skills, then you can be able to get that. So I want to advocate, there's a convention on ILO on paid study leave, so that when you're even employed, your employer continues paying you even when you go to study. So we need to advocate for that to be ratified. So those are the lines that I want to look at. Then another thing that I want to look at, you read about skilling in my manifesto because of the interest of time. Then another area that I also need to look at is capacity building for the unions. Unions are depending so much on membership fee, so much on handouts. So we should leave that system and instead have projects. And for me, what I intend to do for the workers is to support the projects. So instead of coming and saying, okay, I'm visiting the workers, give each one member some money, which money you're going to spend in the next supermarket, I intend to give that money to projects. If you have an internal circle, that will be very good. If you have a running project, it will be very good. So every month I will schedule it to have at least 4 or 5 unions per month benefiting from that money. Those are the lines that I want to go to Parliament. I have chosen the slogan, the next meaning I'm coming with new ideologies. new methods of doing work, new energy to energize the team that is there. Because even as we see football, when they end a season, even the team that wins buys new players. When you buy new players, you energize the team. The legislators, EX is experience. I'm bringing a lot of experience on board because I've been advocating for the workers. There are so many policies that I changed, so many terms and conditions that have changed in the institution that I've been. These things are doable. You only have to put in your energy and you do them. So that experience is going to help us a lot. The last letter T is about togetherness. There is no way you are going to do advocacy for the workers alone. You need a team. You need to work with the trade unions. So for me, I'm promising that I will not remain at Parliament there sitting, but I will come back because you are the people with the issues for the workers. You are the ones with the workers. You are in touch with them. Let's go together. Let's recruit together. So I want you to use me as much as possible. Let's continue these interactions together so that we can move our issues. So that's about Agatha, and I want to thank you for your time. And I want us to continue with these interactions as we go ahead. Lastly, as I conclude, I just want to ask for your votes, for your mandate to represent you in Parliament.
Namirembe.